Set. Places, everybody. And action.
It's time once again for the Hooked on Movies podcast. Today, we are celebrating the 55th anniversary? No, 75, isn't it?
Yes.
75th, because I can't count. 75th anniversary, 1950 release of the Jimmy Stewart classic American comedy, Harvey. With me are Ken.
In this world, you could be so smart or oh so pleasant. Well, for years I was smart. I recommend pleasant.
And Ted.
Eric, I always have a wonderful time, wherever I am, whoever I'm with.
And I'm, of course, Eric. Well, I've wrestled reality for 35 years, Ted, and I'm happy to state I finally won out over it.
So you're champion then, right?
That's right.
In your own head.
Well, yes, which is pretty much what this movie is. In Your Own Head would have been a great title for it. But this one is called Harvey. And if you're listening to this podcast, you're listening to us on one of the many, many platforms out there, the Dorkney Network, Podbean, Apple, iTunes, wherever you find the podcast, we always appreciate you listening. And tell your friends, family, neighbors, perfect strangers.
Enemies.
We don't care.
I don't care.
Enemies, animals, pets, whoever wants to listen.
You know, the Cranberries did a really good version of In Your Head.
They did.
Head.
I think we lost our lead singer a couple of years ago.
Yes, unfortunately. I think so.
I believe she took her own life.
Unfortunately, par for the course.
Yeah. So, Ted, when was the first time you saw this movie?
Well, I thought I had seen this movie before, but then I started watching it for the podcast, and I realized that I had never seen it. So this is my first time watching, just like you, Eric.
Whoa, that's right. My first time watching it. It only took me 75 years.
Me too.
Ken, you see it in the theater?
Yes.
Yeah, back in 1950.
Of course,
you saw it probably
as an
4 or
embryo.
5 times.
22 years before I was even born. Yeah.
That's how much you love it, right?
I would probably say I saw it probably in high school. Had a different take on it back then than I did, let's say, maybe 10, 15 years ago. So,
Or even today, maybe?
Yep, possibly.
Okay. So, Ted, tell us about the particulars of Harvey.
The particulars of the movie Harvey. Harvey was directed by Henry Koster and a screenplay by Mary Chase, Oscar Brodney, Miles Connolly was uncredited. It has a music and score by Frank Skinner. It's based off of the play Harvey by Mary Chase. It has a running time of 104 minutes. It had a release date of December 21st, 1950. I wasn't able to come up with a budget or a box office gross, but the box office that I do have, it says $2.6 million in U.S. rentals. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a critic score of a certified fresh 88%, an audience score of 92%, and IMDb says 7.9.
Wow, wow, and wow.
Yes.
Yes.
So, popular movie.
Yeah.
So, Harvey stars Jimmy Stewart as Elwood P. Dowd, Josephine Hull as Veta Louise Simmons, Peggy Dow as Miss Kelly, Charles Drake as Dr. Sanderson, Cecil Kellaway as Dr. Chumley, Victoria Horn as Myrtle May Simmons, Jesse White as Wilson, William H. Lynn as Judge Gaffney, Wallace Ford as E.J. Lofgren, Nana Bryant as Mrs. Chumley, Grace Mills as Aunt Ethel, and Clem Bevins as Mr. Schimmelplatzer, the gatekeeper. And, of course, Harvey is listed in the credits. So
He also had his own chair, and he also sitting at the
cafeteria
dinner
table. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, treat him like he was a real person.
He was, wasn't he?
Depends on who you talk to.
Well, they're going to be talking to us for the next hour and a half. So here we go.
Well, then I can't wait to hear your tidbits, Ken, because it's time for Ken's tidbits. Ken's tidbits.
All right. At the suggestion of James Stewart, the director changed many shots to make them wider so that Harvey would be in the frame. And in many interviews, Jimmy Stewart also referred to this role of Edward P. Dowd as his favorite. Funny thing, though, is if you notice in the movie, Jimmy Stewart looks up at the rabbit. The rabbit is 6'3.5". Jimmy Stewart's 6'4".
Yeah. And that's tall for that era, and that makes me wonder because he was a fighter pilot in World War II.
You mean Jimmy Stewart or the rabbit?
Jimmy Stewart was 6'4", a little taller than the rabbit.
Yeah, that would have been really cramped for him in the fighter planes that he flew in World War II.
For him or the rabbit.
Yeah, the rabbit too. But I was just commenting on Jimmy Stewart.
Though Edward P. Dowd is certainly referred to as being an alcoholic, he only has one drink in the whole movie, and that's because Hollywood production code at the time would not allow him to be shown getting drunk on film. You could act drunk, but you can't be seen getting drunk. 20 years after the film's release, Jimmy Stewart played the role again of Elwood P. Dowd, Broadway revival of Harvey. He then again played it again in 1972, and for the final time on stage in 1975 on the London revival. The last time a different portrait, though, was made to show the difference of age. Because, of course, at this time, I believe he was more in his 40s, whereas towards the end, he was more in his 70s. Josephine Hull was the Oscar winner in this film. Her only Academy Award nomination and win. Before this, she was best known for another movie that we have done previously. She was one of the aunts in both the stage and film versions of Arsenic and Old Lace.
That explains a lot.
Among those considered for the role of Elwood P. Dowd were Bing Crosby, Cary Grant, Rudy Vallee, Joe E. Brown, who also played the part on stage, Gary Cooper, Jack Benny, Jack Haley, and James Cagney.
There's some interesting people in that list.
You dirty bunny.
You dirty bunny.
You dirty wabbit.
Look at Bunny. We made it to the top.
I could just see Jack Benny being like a penny pinching.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
He wouldn't be inviting everyone over for free food.
And Jack Haley was the Tin Man, right? In Wizard of Oz?
I believe so.
I think you're right about that. Yeah, actually, I think you are.
So that's interesting. But Bing Crosby's an interesting, one of the interesting notes in that list that I could actually see that a little bit.
I can see that, but then I think it would turn into a musical.
Or he'd just be beating his kids on stage.
Maybe, yeah, that's a possibility. James Cagney's an interesting one, though, too. He has a very wide range to him. So I could see that as well.
I think this would fit perfectly with Cary Grant.
Yeah, him too.
This is up his alley, yeah.
And did you say Gary Cooper?
Yeah, Gary Cooper was considered. I can see that too.
That's another one that I could see too. That's an interesting list and some very high, very, very high profile.
As a who's who of
people.
1950, really.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty impressive.
It was remade as a TV movie in 1996 with the late Harry Anderson from Night Court fame. But it has been remade since. And that's all I have at the moment for Ken's tidbits.
Did you read though that I saw that the Weinsteins tried to make a remake of this too?
I didn't acknowledge that if it was on there.
I thought I had seen that, but Harry Anderson makes a lot of sense for this role too,
because he's very likable.
Yeah.
He has that like a Jimmy Stewart quality to him. Yeah,
he does
definitely. Yeah, and sense of humor.
Yeah.
All right, I think it's time for Eric's plot.
The plot. Here we go. Harvey is a classic American comedy film that centers around Elwood P. Dowd, a kind and eccentric man who claims to have an unusual friend, a 6-foot, 3.5-inch tall, invisible rabbit named Harvey. Elwood's unwavering belief in Harvey and his insistence on introducing his friend to everyone causes great concern for his family, particularly his sister, Veta Louise Simmons. Embarrassed by Elwood's behavior, Veta decides to have him committed to a sanitarium. However, through a comedic series of misunderstandings, Veta ends up being admitted instead, while Elwood is left to wander freely with Harvey. As the story unfolds, the sanitarium staff, Elwood's family, and others begin to question their own perceptions of reality and even start to see the value in Elwood's gentle, accepting outlook on life. Ultimately, the film explores themes of acceptance, the importance of kindness, and the power of imagination. By the end, Elwood's family comes to appreciate him for who he is, invisible rabbit and all.
So every time we say sanitarium during this, are we going to play the intro to Metallica's Sanitarium from the Master of Puppets album?
Might have a copyright problem with that. All right. Let's kick off the questions here. We'll kick this one off for Ken because this is his movie. He picked it. So, Ken, how would you describe Elwood P. Dowd's character? What makes him endearing or frustrating to those around him?
I think his kind of character, I think, would be frustrating for anybody that just met him. I don't think people get frustrated with him once they got to know him. So you see people at the bar, they embrace him. They know who he is, Harvey is, and they don't care. And they actually ask questions like, how is he doing today? And I think it's because they get to know Elwood pretty good. The only thing he does is show kindness to people. And kindness to people and respecting people and really putting their interest in front of his is what people want. People won't care about your quirkiness if you treat them with love and respect. And I think that's the kind of character he is.
Did he work? Did he have a job?
I think he did have a job, and I think it doesn't say exactly what he was, but I think he did it for a very long time. And I think something when his mother died, he went into depression. And I think that's how,
when the rabbit came to be?
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
Because he's always passing out his business cards with his phone number and his name, but it doesn't reference a business or anything.
Right.
Well, he shows an old number. He says, don't call that number.
Yeah, that's the old number.
Call this number. Yeah.
I think the old number is his business number, which
could
is
be
no longer in service.
I should have brought this up in tidbits, but I didn't read this anywhere, but it makes me wonder if Harold Ramis included Elwood, and that's why it's Jake and Elwood from the Blues Brothers. Because this seems like this would be a movie that would be right up his alley. Or is it John Landis?
John Landis.
John Landis, but still, we can just switch out the names. Yeah.
What frustrates everybody around him is not his attitude towards people. It's they can't get over the fact that he's insistent that he sees this rabbit. And it makes other people uncomfortable because they, of course, don't see the rabbit. Well, we can debate whether or not it actually exists. And people have, especially in the 30s, have a very hard time dealing with anybody that may or may not have a mental illness.
What about 1950?
1950, yeah, that's when the movie was
30s
made.
were probably 30. They were locking him away and throwing the key away.
Probably,
yeah.
And so people are very skittish around people that they seem to think have a mental illness.
2025 is same thing. I don't think much has changed over the years, to be perfectly honest with you.
I will say this, it is more accepted now. As a society, we've accepted more of it as we've come to know more.
Not somebody who sees a 6'3" rabbit. I don't think we accept that more.
Well, that we don't have sanitariums anymore. They've all been shut down because of gross neglect and other horrible things that happened there.
Well, there's a difference about someone who sees a imaginary friend, let it be a human or a rabbit, and can still function in society, versus a person who is strung out on drugs, screaming and yelling and is violent and has a rabbit friend. It's a different scenario. I would say in the 30s and the 50s, in that time, it didn't matter what the scenario was. You were crazy and you were locked up in the sanitarium.
People that had auditory or visual hallucinations.
Sure.
At that time, psychology wasn't as nearly as advanced as it is now. Because we can debate whether or not we think he's schizophrenic or what he truly is. That's up for debate, but it makes people in general uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I'll disagree with you to a certain extent, because I still think, even though we don't have sanatoriums, we basically still have some of those procedures. I mean, we still have, to a certain extent, shock therapy is still out there.
It's very rare, but yes.
It's not like, and there are people that, are lifelongers, that live in these mental institutions now. There are probably still some type of abuse in some areas.
Well, of course, there's abuse in prisons. There's abuse in halfway houses. There's abuse in kids that are adopted. What do you call it? Foster care. Everywhere you go, there's going to be abuse.
Just saying that the name has changed, but maybe some of the things that happened back then still happen now.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know he's a joke now, but Geraldo did a really good job in the late 70s of exposing the problems in that area. I believe it was Willowbrook Institute in Pennsylvania that he really pulled the cover back on that and exposed it. Here's the thing too. What I was surprised is with the young doctor that they see. I was surprised that he wasn't, quote unquote, promoting his method as being a frontal lobotomy, because that we're talking that era as well. There's a famous Dr. Demento song that he used to play on his radio show called "I Wish I Had a Bottle in Front of Me, Instead I Got a Frontal Lobotomy."
With a doctor like him, who I think is someone who actually cares about his patients, even we did a movie called Shutter Island, right?
Right.
And in Shutter Island, it was a last case, resort, right? They tried all these other different things. And that movie was, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that movie was set in the 60s?
Yes, I believe it was the 60s.
Similar
era. Yeah, early 60s, I believe.
Yeah. So my thought process is they used drugs and they used other type of means to get him well. So I don't think they would have gone straight to this lobotomy at the beginning of the movie here and saying, well, okay, we're going to have to mess with your frontal lobe.
There was an era of time where that was the first resort, though.
Yeah, and
because
maybe
didn't one of the Kennedy girls, one of Joe's girls, have a frontal lobotomy?
But I don't think that was first resort, though. So, I mean, I'm not saying they don't happen.
Yeah, but I think we're kind of getting off topic here a little bit. I don't think the character of I don't think the character of Harvey needs to be strapped down to a gurney.
No,
at this
he's
point.
not a threat to
society. He's to talk to him about another particular movie that we did, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yes.
He's not Randall. He's not Jack Nicholson's character, Randall McMurphy.
Correct.
And One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest either, because he's not a miscreant.
As Ken stated, the character is extremely likable.
Yes.
He puts everyone else's needs in front of him. The only issue he has is he has an imaginary bunny friend who he insists is always there or wants to know where he is, and he exists. Apparently, people who know him, besides his family and 1,000-year-old relatives that seem to upset them, everyone else accepts it. So it seems like he has a history of being a pretty normal guy outside of this.
Yeah,
but his family is just extremely embarrassed. They probably have a lot of money behind them. It sounds like they do. They like to have socialite and invite people over and have dinner parties. So for them, this is a huge black mark, an embarrassment to the family. So they're trying to probably hide it, hoping he'll grow out of it. I mean, we don't know what started this.
Well, I'll say this. I do agree with everything you said there, and I'll add to it. I think, so his sister wants her daughter to become part of high society, to meet, a suitor.
Right.
And high society is going to turn their head or treat this as not likable or anything like that. It's different than, let's say, the lower class or the middle class who he hangs out with at the bars and things of that nature. They're going to maybe look at it first, maybe differently, but learn to accept it. Higher society, though, even if they accepted it, they wouldn't accept it because they don't want other people to look at them a certain way.
Well, they don't want to get to know him either. That's the thing.
They would hide it.
The first thing they see is a whack job who's talking to a bunny. If they got to know him, they would realize that he puts everyone else's needs in front of his, and he is the nicest person, and he will do anything to make, I don't want to say he's a people pleaser, but he will do anything above his own needs to make you happy and make you feel comfortable. But he's got his bunny friend.
He always thinks that he has the best intentions.
Always has the best intentions.
And he thinks everybody has the best intentions for him as well. But Ken's exactly right.
But did you notice that no one actually comes out in this movie and goes, hey, the bunny's not there?
Well,
seriously, what's wrong with you? Bunny's not there. No one comes out and says that.
Exactly.
Everyone tiptoes around it, and their ideas, let's put them in the sanitarium and let it be their problem.
Yeah, because that's what the rich would have done.
Of course, and it's of the era. It's of the era.
They would have hit him. Because nobody saw the Kennedy girl. She never made a public appearance.
We don't know what was wrong with her.
Well,
but I would say this.
We know she had a frontal lobotomy. I mean,
but we don't know if she was a threat. We don't know, if it was just this that was done to, hush hush type of deal. But here's the thing: even though they don't actually say there's no bunny, they do tell him once he takes his shot, he'll never see the bunny again.
And he's still willing to do it to make his family happy.
Right.
He puts everyone else's needs above his.
Did you catch this, though? His sister kind of believes that the bunny exists.
At the end.
Yeah.
At the end.
No, she says that don't tell anybody, but there have been times when I've even seen the bunny.
Yes. Yeah. Which probably got her thrown into the old house there.
And the head doctor at the sanatorium, he sees it. I'm interested to know what's going on in his life. He's married and he's very unhappy. He doesn't see anybody. He sits in that room reading a book all day, it looks like. It seems like he's looking for some type of answer to his life.
Okay.
Maybe that's when the rabbit shows up.
For him, yes. I wish we would have seen their interaction at the bar. All three of them.
Right. Yeah.
They kind of not show that and just to make an assumption that something happened to the doctor. But him and Harvey went out to another bar, and then he couldn't get rid of Harvey, and then he wants to keep Harvey.
All right. Guys, ready for the next question? I got a wild card for you.
You betcha.
Because this is what we do. This is where our topics go. So the sister tries to institutionalize Elwood, right?
Yeah.
And then she gets institutionalized. Gets stripped naked and thrown into the tub. Is that sexual assault, Ted?
No, they're trying to do a very extreme hydrotherapy on her though, and
forcefully removing her clothes.
It is because she's not insane. They made a mistake.
So it is sexual assault.
Is she not insane though?
No, I don't think she.
Everybody in this whole movie has some mental illness.
Well, genetic,
I don't think she has a mental illness. I think she might be
eccentric.
Yes, she might be eccentric, but she's not.
She definitely deals with anxiety disorder.
She deals with a lot of stress in her life. And it comes
Deals
from a
with
brother,
anxiety disorder.
a younger brother that sees a rabbit all the time, and a daughter who can't find a man because she's fugly. And then on top of
she's not fugly.
She's
No,
not
she
attractive.
is. She is fugly. I agree.
Really?
She's a little creepy looking.
Yeah, she's not.
Yeah.
I didn't
find her attractive at all. So the guy she was going after made perfect sense.
Yeah, it made perfect sense.
Yeah.
Because he's ugly too.
Yeah.
And he's fucking creepy as hell.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a combination of, the daughter stressing her out, brother stressing her out. We don't know how long mother has been dead too. So that could be a lot of stress. And she's got a lot on her plate. She's responsible for everything, even though Elwood inherited everything. He got everything, and she had to move in because she didn't get anything. So, but she's taking care of everything.
Oh, that's where Elwood's job is. He inherited all the money.
He didn't need a job.
He's
anymore.
living off the funds.
It seems like that because it seems like they're in a well-to-do house.
Clearly.
So.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot about that because he was there when she died.
Are we sure that this movie is set in the 1950s?
1950.
I would
so
say
if you want to go late 40s.
The movie was released in 1950, but I think it's set in the 1940s because that's when the play was.
Because there's a lot. I mean, I was thinking even a little bit earlier than that because there has a little bit of a feel of post-Civil War era.
I wouldn't go that far.
Civil War?
I would go 1800s.
Or the Gilded Age.
They're driving cars of the 1940s. They have telephones.
They have an electric gate.
Yeah.
Motorized gate. I'm thinking at earliest mid 1930s. Earliest.
I'm thinking this is clearly post 45 because there's no reference. If this is World War II era, there'd be rations and everything.
I would think. I agree with you. I think it's in the 40s. But I wouldn't go any earlier than the mid 19. Because if you think about another movie,
I like your Civil War era though. That's interesting.
But either that or the Gilded Age.
No.
Of the late 1800s to early 1900s. Some of the
they didn't have cabs back there.
Yeah, the horse-drawn carriages.
Some of the cultural aspects of this equate to that high society of the
high
20s.
Society didn't evolve for
the
hundreds of years. Old money is old money.
I think of it as the movie "You Can't Take It With You" that we did a year or two ago as a Christmas movie, but I think of the high society then and the people that are kind of like of that era. This movie feels a lot like that movie. That movie came out in 1939, which was also a play. So I think it has more of that late 1930s, early 1940s appeal, but you don't have the Depression. There's no mention of the Depression here in this movie, so I think I'm going to lean more towards...
That's why I was thinking like 20s, too.
No.
There's too many things like the cab and the electric fence and the telephone.
And the cars.
It's
the
not
cars
really
are 1940s cars. So
it's a motorized fence.
He has to wheel it, doesn't he?
No, it's electric.
It's just a lever.
It's a lever. It's electric.
It's a lever. Right.
It's electric. I thought we'd go a little deeper on that one. So,
no, it's not sexual assault.
Okay,
it is.
No,
okay,
it's not. It's a very controversial.
When it's illegal, it's a sexual assault.
This is what I wanted.
That was illegal.
All right.
That's why she's getting an attorney. She's suing.
Yep, she's suing.
It is. Yeah, she is.
Because the doctor's like, "Hey, you're going to sue us for this." Yes, and he was right. Okay,
yeah, he was.
So let's discuss the transformation of Veta Simmons throughout the story. How does her attitude towards Elwood and Harvey change?
I don't think it does change.
Oh.
Here's what I think. She always loves him. She cares about him deeply. Even when she's trying to commit him, she's sad about it because I think Elwood is everything to him. She has a daughter, but this is her baby brother, and she's taken care of him for a very long time. I think the difference here at the end is when they want to give him the shot, and she finds out it's going to change him. She doesn't want him to go through the shot because she loves him for who he is. I think the only change here is a realization that she can't live without the baby brother as she's known all her life. I think that's the only change.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. She's critical of him when others are around, but down deep she has a true affinity and love for him. She doesn't want to see him change, even if it means having to deal with the fact that he sees a rabbit.
She defends a rabbit at one time.
No, she does more than once.
Yeah. I think the rabbit is something that she believes as being part of high society, that there's something wrong with her brother, and so something does need to be taken care of. I think it's more because of the embarrassment. She sends him away to the bar. She doesn't tell him what's going on. What really makes her go through with the plan is, well, it ruins her daughter's chances to get a guy because everybody from high society decides to walk out on them when he shows up. So I do think there's a lot of pressure on her to make that change, but she loves him for the sweet man that he is. And she even says multiple times, he'll do anything that I ask him to do because he's that kind of guy. Not that she would take advantage of that, because she doesn't. Everybody that he comes across with, except that the guy at the sanitarium that wants to give him a hydro bath there or whatever that is, he's a piece of work. If anybody in this film needs therapy, it's that guy.
That's a very controversial method of treatment as well. Essentially, it's almost waterboarding. Except it's immersive. It's very controversial.
I'm curious, though, that old lady was going to give him a bath.
Yeah, no, she wasn't.
We
probably would have let her.
He wasn't fighting anybody in this. He was never confrontational in this movie. Wasn't iota.
No.
The only time he even gets his feathers ruffled a little bit is when Harvey initially decides to stay with the doctor towards the end of the movie. Then you see a little uncertainty about he's depressed, he's frustrated, but then Harvey comes back. All's good all's right in the world.
All is good.
What's your opinion, Eric?
Oh boy. I would agree with you guys. Initially she's embarrassed for her brother. She wants the best intentions for him, and she really thinks that this sanitarium is maybe going to bring him back to where he was before. Again, we don't know the backstory. We don't know the tragedy. We don't know if his mother dying set off the rabbit. But she honestly thinks that this is going to bring him back. And then by the end of the movie, I think she's almost proud of him. She's defending him. She doesn't want him to change. She realizes that, you know what? He's eccentric too. He's not harming anyone. He's a great guy. I was wrong. That's what I saw.
I'm curious how the mother might have died. He died in her arm, in his arms.
The bunny killed her. Jealousy.
But see, that's the thing. It sounds like it was all of a sudden.
It's a total Norman Bates moment,
traumatic,
right?
A little bit.
Yeah. So
Norman
was
Bates?
she killed?
It's unknown. I'm not going to go back to that.
Was the killer's name Harvey?
No,
dun, dun.
I'm not going to go back because it lends to different maladies that occurred during the late 19 teens and into the 20s. And that's what's piqued my senses about that. But I mean, obviously what happened to their mother was
tragic.
It was traumatic in some way, because it caused him to have, I'm not going to say he had a split with reality, because I think he deals with reality in a very good way. The rabbit's more of a coping mechanism for him. I think other people see that in him, and they might know that story of what happened and why she died in his arms and all of that. And this is just how he's chosen to cope with that reality. I could sit here and say that, if me seeing a 6-foot rabbit following me around made me a happier person, I'd say bring on the rabbit.
So be it, right?
Right.
You're not harming anyone.
Right.
You're putting everyone else's needs above yours. You're a likable person.
Yeah.
You just have an imaginary friend.
Right, because you can't deal with what's happened to you.
Right.
Personally, I'd make that trade every day.
Okay. Let's move into our next question. This one is for Ted. How does this movie use humor to address serious themes such as mental health and social acceptance. It's right up your alley.
Okay, so I know this is supposed to be a comedy.
That's what I'm told.
To me, there are funny situations.
Humorous situations.
I
think funny's going a little far, but okay.
Yeah. They use those humorous situations to cut the tension that arises, especially between the doctor and the nurse. They're not on the same wavelength. He's an idiot. And there's some uncomfortable things that they're talking about. And the fact that they don't see eye to eye and are not on the same playing field, that's humorous. But it's also humorous to cut that tension. The fact that these guys don't know what the fuck they're doing. And they're just throwing shit at a wall trying to see if it sticks. And which is kind of frightening if you think about it. So they take some tense situations and then they interject the humor into it, or the humorous situation into it. They never use Harvey as a joke. That's the thing. That's what sets this apart and why I have a hard time saying it's a comedy.
Harvey's not a joke. He's not meant to be funny.
He's not a joke.
No, he's not.
Because the tendency would be to use Harvey as the joke. And he's not. It's the people around that are all around that are the jokes, except for Elwood.
He's part of the joke, though, to a certain extent. And
I don't think so.
So, for instance, we talk about how they use comedy for mental illness, but we really haven't talked about how they use comedy to deal with his alcoholism.
He's not an alcoholic.
Yes, he is. He's a big-time alcoholic.
Does he have the shakes?
He doesn't have to have the shakes because he drinks all the time.
But doesn't everyone in 1950 drink all the time?
Ever.
Here's my theory on all of this and how he met Harvey, because he talks about how he met Harvey. He met Harvey at the bar because he'd go down to the bar and drink all the time. He even asked for a drink all the time throughout the movie. When he's sitting there and they feel like they have the wrong guy, he's like, "You go, do you need anything?" He's like, "Yeah, I could use a drink." And then he even goes to the other doctor when he says, he would like to have a beer on this like elaborate fantasy, and he's like, "Not whiskey." When he talks about his fantasy, the only problem that he has with his fantasy is that it's not whiskey, but he wants beer. He is an alcoholic. He wants to be downtown drinking. He does it every afternoon. He goes down to the bar and he drinks excess. The fact that you missed that is kind of surprising because he doesn't work.
No, I thought that he went down there because those people accepted him.
No, he go down there initially because he's an alcoholic. In fact, when they joke around with him about his aunt being an alcoholic, he's like, no, and they're like, "Well, you're not." And he looks at Harvey and kind of smirks and turns around. He's like, no. But he knows that he is.
He's the highest functioning alcoholic I've ever seen.
Is he a high functioning alcoholic? He sees a 6'3.5" rabbit. That's a pretty high functioning alcoholic.
Is Harvey the embodiment of his alcoholism?
Because the movie lets you to believe to a certain extent, yes. Not towards the end because of some of the things that happen, like the gates opening and the doors opening and things like that. They make you believe that Harvey's real, right? But throughout the movie, they make you believe that the alcoholism is part of the reason why he sees Harvey, because he has too much to drink. I would say rewatch the film. He loves his drink. In fact, I will tell you,
isn't he?
Yeah, he likes martinis and whiskeys. He actually orders 3 martinis.
Well, the rabbit has to have one too.
Right, yeah. The rabbit has one, and he has one for the bartender.
Well, and then, of course, they paid for the other guy at the other end.
Right. I don't see him as an alcoholic.
I don't see how you cannot see that he's an alcoholic.
I look at him differently.
I can see both sides of the coin, to be honest with you.
Because, I mean, he doesn't have any of the telltale signs of an alcoholic.
He repeatedly wants to go back to the same place all day long. He mentions going back to the bar
those people are
3 to
him.
4 times. It's not about just the people. What do you do at a bar? Just enjoy the nice people? No, you
Some
drink.
people do.
What do you do at a bar, Ken?
I eat. Here's the thing. When they go see him at the bar, who's he talking to?
The rabbit.
No.
The rabbit? The bartender?
Nobody's there at his table. He's just drinking.
Yeah, you're right.
The
rabbit's sitting across from him.
No, the rabbit left with the doctor. He's there by himself, drinking.
Oh, that's right. Because they thought the rabbit killed the doctor.
Because he's looking for the rabbit. He's looking for Harvey, ever since the doctor and him left. So he's sitting there by himself drinking, and he invites other people to come and drink with him.
He does want a lot of people there. He's a friendly guy.
He's a friendly guy who likes his alcohol.
So then was Norm an alcoholic?
Yeah.
Yes.
In Cheers?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Norm always had a beer in his hands.
Cliff?
Always. Cliff's
Norm and Cliff were, I won't say they're raging alcoholics. They're functional alcoholics. They like their drink in the evening to excess. And then in the morning, they do their job and they do it well until it's quitting time. And then they rather be at the bar than be with their family. We never see Norm with his family. He's always at the bar.
We never see him with his
family. Same thing here with Elwood. He's always at the bar, barely ever with his family. He's a functioning alcoholic. I don't think he's like sloppy drunk all the time, but he probably averages 4 to 5 drinks a day.
That's not an alcoholic.
That's an alcoholic, Ted. That's an alcoholic. If you
really.
need 4 to 5 drinks a day, that you are suffering from some sort of alcoholism.
AI does say, it says Elwood and Harvey is strongly implied to be an alcoholic.
There you go.
Yeah.
I didn't take it that way.
Well, it's because it's a late 40s movie where, like Ken said about the rules. And you know what? No one likes a raging alcoholic. If he had those bad alcoholic tendencies, he's not going to be that friendly guy.
We do like those because I'll make an example in the movies where that's the case. The 80 or 81 film, Arthur with Dudley Moore.
Oh, I love Arthur. You're right.
Everybody loves that drunk.
Yeah.
Because he's a worse drunk. He drinks twice as much, if not more, than Elwood does.
I think it's the accent that helps.
But he's nice pretty much to everybody, unless it's Susan, the guy he's trying, the girl that everybody wants him to marry, and Susan's father who wants to kill him. I mean, at the end of the day, Elwood is a drunk, but he's that friendly drunk. He's the drunk that you like to hang out with. He's a good guy. And maybe these guys knew him before his mom died, too.
He could have been an alcoholic before his mom died, too.
Then she's right to have him put in a sanitarium because that's what you did with drunks.
I think she's right to want him in a sanitarium to begin with, to be honest with you. I don't think she's wrong. If she decided not to, I don't think she's wrong either. In this particular case, she's hoping that the issue will resolve itself and that she can keep him away from others that will embarrass her or embarrass him or have him taken away on his own. The party there was the last straw.
The way I interpreted it is that's what they're using to explain away why he sees the rabbit, and not necessarily that he really was. And it's just as an excuse that they use, because being an alcoholic, everybody understands that, but they don't understand the mental illness of seeing a rabbit. I don't know. I just had a different interpretation of the character.
Well, that's okay.
I do think
everyone does.
I think there's a combination of the alcoholism / the trauma from his mother's death. They're both hand in hand contributing to what he's going through right now. Like I said, if you watch this movie again, watch how many times he needs a drink or needs a desire to go back to the bar.
Well, he says when he goes to the bar the first time is because that's where Harvey wanted to go.
Harvey might be a raging alcoholic too. So
There's nothing worse than a raging alcoholic bunny.
Yeah, for an alcoholic rabbit tends to be a problematic thing.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know. I just had a different interpretation.
Oh, that's the fun thing about a movie is you can all have a different interpretation.
Some of us are right, though.
Okay, fun. Thank you. What does Harvey symbolize in the film, and how might viewers interpret him differently?
To Ken, he's an alcoholic.
Right. And to you, he is...
I think that he's a manifestation of a coping mechanism for Elwood, that he's had some sort of trauma that's occurred in his life, and this is how he's coping with it. And it's caused him to maintain a very positive outlook to the world.
He doesn't have a positive outlook to the world completely.
How can you say that?
Here's the reason why I say that. He has given up on all responsibilities in life. Yes, he loves everything that he has because he doesn't take responsibility for what he is. So, for instance, at the beginning of the movie, when he comes out and the guy hands him some mail and he just tears it out, he doesn't care. He doesn't care about anything. That's why his aunt has to take care of everything, and she's overly stressed.
So, do you consider this movie a comedy or a dark drama?
It could be. You could actually say it's a dark comedy to a certain extent, because
wow.
we
watched two different movies.
Hey, I think this movie is hilarious at times, but there are some underlining themes in this movie. Here, if you take a look at his character, if you look at him just in one particular way, don't forget, I've seen this movie like a billion times, right? Every time I've come to watching this movie, I almost come with a different take of who Elwood is and what Elwood has gone through. So his life is 24/7 Harvey. If Harvey's not around, he needs to find Harvey. That's not healthy in any type of way.
No, it's not.
He can't function without Harvey. We saw at the end when Harvey was going to stay with the doctor that he didn't know how his life was going to move on from there.
Right.
He had a worried look on his face. And that's why I'm saying.
And you feel bad for him. I mean,
and you feel bad for him. And that's why I'm saying his personality is not as all rose-colored glasses as you might think it is. Harvey is partly to thank for that and partly to blame for that. The problem with the end of this movie is Harvey is always going to still be that crutch. If he learned his lesson at the end of this movie that he had that attitude without Harvey being around, then that would be one thing. But it's another thing to continue to have Harvey as the reason why you get through your day every day. And that's kind of worrisome to a certain extent. I know that's probably way too deep, right?
No,
because I like the other idea that, like, his sister feels like, hey, I don't want him to change. He's a sweet guy. He'll do anything for everybody. And I think that's the person he is. But he's that person because Harvey gives him the freedom to be that kind of person.
See, I got the impression that he was that way before. And he was a good-natured person before that had something traumatic happen to him. And instead of becoming jaded against the world and hate everybody, he created this manifestation of this rabbit that has helped him maintain a positive outlook. When he says Harvey is going to stay with the doctor, he does panic a little bit because he's going to lose his touch with he's going to end up having to deal with all of the trauma that he's endured from whatever happened to him. And that's very scary and daunting, and it could change him.
So I'm gonna give you these two lines that me and Eric said earlier. In this world, you can be so smart or so pleasant. Well, for years I was smart. I recommend pleasant.
The one where you wrestled with reality and won?
Yeah, the one where you said about wrestled with the reality and won. And that was a long time. For a long time, he wrestled with reality.
35 years, I believe.
35 years, right? So those two lines make me believe that he didn't have this pleasant life that we're thinking that he had. He struggled with it. And, he might have been this guy who was smart and made lots of money and went to work and did what was expected of him. And then tragedy hit and Harvey hit. And now he has chosen to lead this life. He might have always been pleasant. He might have always been a sweet guy, but I don't think he was ever happy because he probably had to do what life told him to do. Go get a job, work your butt off, take care of the things you need to take care of. Now he's the exact opposite. He just cares about having, being happy in the place that he's in as long as he has no real responsibility, because he has no responsibility whatsoever. He doesn't take care of anybody. Everybody takes care of him, even Harvey to a certain extent here, right? But he is a sweet guy because at the end of the day, he wants to do what's right for his sister, right?
Right.
And he even says that, even tells the doctor, she does all the stuff. She is the person that makes everything go. I love Harvey. I love Elwood. I love his personality and stuff like that. But if I dig deeper, I could see chinks in the armor. I would worry about Elwood later on in life, especially with a sister that's much older than him. So what happens when she dies?
What is she, like 100?
Yeah, the actual actors are actually, I think, 30 years apart.
Everyone of that era from like the 30s, 40s, 50s, they all look like they're 30 years older than everyone else because all they did was just smoke and drink in reality. So someone who's like 40 looks like they're 70.
When we talk about comedy here, as you were talking about how they use comedy for all this stuff and how does it play off, I think it's Jimmy Stewart's facial expressions throughout the movie that make his character endearing. At times, his face is one of those of just like an innocent boy. And then there's other times where he's just the sweetest guy, especially with the nurse, who the actress who plays that nurse is still alive, by the way, which I think she's like 93 or something like that.
She's close to 100. She's the only cast member still alive.
Only cast member still alive.
Well, the bunny might still be alive, but I don't know.
The rabbit is still alive.
If you actually go on Google IMDb, and ask who's still alive, they'll actually list the bunny as still being alive too.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. But it's his facial expressions and Jimmy Stewart himself, we all have looked at as, you even say it all the time, Eric. Gee, Mr. Potter, oh shucks, Mr. Potter. It's that sweet.
I call him one-dimensional.
You call him one-dimensional, but what he is here is he's just lovable.
One-dimensional.
Because I know you don't mean that at all.
No, I don't mean that at all.
He's able to pull this off because of how he could turn a phrase and say it with sincerity. When Jimmy Stewart plays a character and says something meaningful, you buy it because you buy the person that Jimmy Stewart's playing, and you actually believe that Jimmy Stewart is that person.
And maybe that's why my interpretation of the movie is the way it is, because I have a feeling if we have a Jimmy Cagney doing this role, it probably does come off more alcoholic.
Well, yeah. No, Jimmy Cagney, I think, played a great alcoholic.
It would be darker.
Oh, it'd be much darker. Just his voice is darker.
Right.
I mean, Jimmy Cagney's voice and Jimmy Stewart's voice are like night and day.
Yeah.
It's a totally different movie. There would be more machine guns in this, too. More mob stuff involved.
Maybe.
Yeah, the bunny would actually have one of the machine guns.
Exactly.
Right? So.
Bunny would be the nickname for one of the mobsters.
We made it to the top.
That's right.
I think any of the actors that we talked about earlier in this that were up for this role could have been different. Gary Cooper has played a down-and-out drunk. We've seen like Meet Mr. Doe, John Doe. He's played that character down and out kind of guy. Though we have seen Jimmy Stewart.
He'll always be Lou Gehrig to me.
He'll always be Sergeant York to me.
Sergeant York.
Yeah, that was one of my dad's favorite films of all time. But Cary Grant, we've seen Cary Grant play a similar kind of character in the Arsenic and Old Lace movie.
Yeah, and he kind of plays a playboy type in North by Northwest too.
Yeah, but I think out of all those actors, Jimmy Stewart is the one when he says something sweet and meaningful, you buy it more than all those other actors. Because he just has that ability to, I mean, we've reviewed Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Right.
And, it's the boy next door that becomes a congressman, right? And he's the guy that can do no wrong. I think it's great not to dive too deep into this movie to a certain extent. I like the fact that just keeping Jimmy Stewart's character, Elwood, just as an innocent, pleasant guy who all he wants to do is enjoy life, all the surroundings around him. He doesn't even notice that and his sister doesn't notice that you're not even supposed to be on the grass picking those flowers. They both don't notice that they shouldn't be on there, but there's a sign that says right there. She's caring about flowers for her brother. He's just caring about life in general. That's how I would rather think of it, is that these people are just sweet people.
All right, fair enough. Let's move on. How does Harvey challenge the audience's perceptions of normalcy and eccentricity? Eccentricity. There's a tough word.
Because you have to make a determination as a viewer. Is Harvey real or is he fake?
So let's kind of do a little bit of a deeper dive into that. Ken, you brought this up earlier. So towards the end of the movie, when the doctor claims that he has seen Harvey and he runs back to the sanitarium, you see the doors open behind him as he's going into his office. Like the rabbit is opening the doors. Then when he's in his office, he locks the door or thinks he locks the door. And then the rabbit opens his office door. And then he climbs out the window, right? He loses it. There's no one else in the sanitarium. It's just him. So are these the perceptions of the thoughts of the people that are seeing Harvey? Or is this the reality that the rabbit is a giant invisible rabbit that's haunting everybody?
I think at the end of the day, the director wants you to believe that Harvey's real. You have multiple people that have now claimed to see him. I actually don't like the gate opening the way it does, or the door opening in the office the way it does. I would rather we see the doctor walking towards his desk and seeing a facial expression when the door opens from behind. But we don't see the door open from behind. We just hear the door open from behind. Or we hear the gate open and close, but we don't see the lever being moved. We just hear it open and close, and then we see Jimmy Stewart talking to Harvey. I would rather prefer it that way. Leave it to the imagination of the person watching the film to determine what just happened. Is Harvey real? Is Harvey not real? I think by doing those two things, by just showing the lever move and the door being turned, it gives us the impression that Harvey is real, and that takes away from some of the fantasy of the movie. That's my only problem with this film, is those instances. I wish they were just done a little bit differently.
Interesting. Because in regards to your question, as a viewer, you have to determine early on how you feel, if the rabbit's real or not. We're not given any direction as to how to feel until what Ken says happens.
Well, there was actually one time before that. Well, there's a couple times before that. Don't forget the dictionary that has, when he reads about what was it puta?
A puka
is. And then at the end, it asks him how he's feeling today. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of those little things here and there to put doubt in all our minds if the rabbit's real or not.
What is a puka?
A puka is a Irish. The best way to describe it is like a fairy, or
I like to think of him as like Loki, not from like the Marvel movies, but for like a mischievous, god that like plays with people's lives a little bit.
Like the leprechaun?
Well, that's kind of what in Irish folklore, that's what a fairy is. They are mischievous entities. And a puka is a animal version of that is manifested. The only reason I know that is because I listened to the brilliant podcast Lore, and they have talked about pukas.
Puka the podcast.
Puka the podcast, yeah. No, it's Lore delves deep into a lot of that sort of supernatural folklore and everything like that, and it's how far you want to believe. It's the Art Bell theory. How far down the rabbit hole do you want to go, Alice?
There's that part where they have, she's looking for her money purse and she can't find it. And then
she finds it.
And then she finds it after everything happens. And Elwood doesn't get the shot. And then all of a sudden she finds the person. She goes, Harvey.
That's something that a puka would do.
Nut job.
That's what I like about this movie. That's what I want them to keep on doing, is those type of things, not the physical opening of a door or physical opening gate.
Right.
It says, oh, I can't find this. What happened to it? And then it's because Harvey took it and then might have put it back in. Those are the fun parts of this movie.
It's all about what you believe. And
I wanted to see a 6-foot bunny.
You wanted to see
just like in the corner, just like behind the couch or something. Like, did you see that?
Or see a shadow of the bunny,
or see one of Harvey's friends dressed up as the bunny,
or maybe there's just an egg on the middle of the floor all of a sudden. Maybe he laid an egg.
Do rabbits lay eggs?
No,
not male rabbits.
They're mammals.
Wouldn't it be a great movie if at the end everyone was just messing with him?
Or if he was just messing with everybody else.
And then
there you go.
His mother's not really dead. She's been in a bunny outfit this whole time.
Right.
We haven't brought this up, but what do you guys think of the portrait?
It's interesting.
It is who do you think painted that thing? That was a very interesting portrait because we did get to see what the bunny looked like. What are your thoughts on that? Creepy, not creepy? We're expecting like a Bugs Bunny? Or
I think it's funny how they introduce it. I mean,
yeah.
They're talking about her mother, and he's like talking about the painting, and all of a sudden he's thinking that maybe her mother was a rabbit. So
yeah, I think the painting it just shows that he has the money to be able to do something like that. He was able to pay an artist to paint him and the rabbit.
Maybe he painted it.
No, I don't think so.
That's a possibility. What besides going to the bar? What else is he doing?
I don't know.
Have a job.
What else is he doing?
I would
think out his business card, apparently.
I think possibly he could have painted that, and he was proud of it and was ready to hang it up on his mantle. I think it's possible that we don't know that for sure.
I thought he said he paid for it, but I could be wrong.
I don't remember him saying it, but it could go either way. We just don't know for sure.
I like that supernatural aspect of him being of Harvey being a puka, because there are certain things that, because I am who I am, that I do kind of make me wonder.
So if there was a Harvey sequel, Harvey 2, would it be a killer rabbit? He just lose control?
Wouldn't Harvey 2 be Donnie Darko? Wouldn't that be the darker twist on this movie?
It's an interesting... I haven't thought about that. Donnie Darko. No. Wow.
If we go true sequel, I think it's Elwood rejecting Harvey at some point. And Harvey's trying to get back with him. Because at the end of the day,
Harvey's revenge.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Harvey is Elwood's best friend. And I want to believe that Harvey is real, because Harvey is going to take care of Elwood. And you want that if he's real. If he's not real, it's a sad story. If it's real, it's a beautiful story. It's because it's about friendship.
All right, let's move on here. Ken, have you ever known someone like Elwood P. Dowd? Do not say me. Someone whose kindness and outlook has set them apart. How did others respond to them?
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys just count yourself out on that one.
I know.
So, have I known anybody whose kindness has set them apart from everyone else?
And has an imaginary friend.
No. There's nobody I know that's like that. I know people that are, very kind and would help anybody out in a jam, but also there's a lot of stress on them to be that kind of person.
Okay.
Because then there's an expectation for them to be that person all the time.
I wish I could be that person, but I'm going to be honest. I fall very, very short of that.
I think you sell yourself short on that, and that's not because
really
you're
short
small.
jokes. That's nice.
I know.
Okay. I set myself up for that one.
I'll be honest. You're kind of person that is like that, where you give yourself to a lot of people. But I also know that can also be very stressful on you from time to time. Because
sometimes I wish I had that imaginary bunny.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
As that's
why we encourage you to drink from time to time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Luckily, I'm not a raging alcoholic like Dowd, but I'm working on it.
There's a number of people out there that have a lot of Elwood's qualities. They probably don't have it 24/7 like Elwood does, because we live in a real world where we have responsibilities. We have to have a job, and that job causes stress. Where is Elwood's stress? He doesn't have any.
He doesn't. He just wanders around town, picking flowers, having a martini.
It was he was rich.
All that stress is put upon his sister.
Family, yes. Yeah. Ted, how about you? Same thing? Me?
Yeah.
Me?
Well, no, Ken did describe you very accurately.
Woohoo!
I would say all of my close friends are that way. You, of course, Eric, and of course, Ken and Justin. I think all three of you exhibit that wonderful kindness.
Shout out to Justin.
Fuck off, Ted. Shut up, Ted.
Here's the thing, and not to get too crazy sappy.
No.
But
don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't.
When I was in the hospital, it was you guys that I could count on. And it's
with that pillow in my hand. Yep.
Right.
Come on, Ted. It's a comedy. This is a comedy. That's what they tell me.
So, I try to surround myself with people that are that way, because I have a tendency to be more down and more jaded towards life. And I don't necessarily, that's not an aspect of myself that I really like, but I see it in others, and that's who I try to surround myself with. I can't relate to Jimmy Stewart's character here. I can't relate to Elwood. If I see somebody like that, my initial reaction is, well, what's the dark side to that person? They can't be this way completely.
Well, that's,
you know what I mean?
And exactly, because that's the way we are in today's society. We naturally, when we meet someone, our first impression is based on the first impression.
Right.
And if the first impression is kindness, you're going to lean towards that. But unfortunately, if you add in any type of mental illness card, that card is probably going to lean more towards your first impression. Now you're like, yeah, he's nice, but he's talking to an imaginary bunny. He could flip out at any time. We don't know.
And he's going to shoot up the bar.
And he's handing me a business card.
Hey, what happens if the rabbit goes away? Does Elwood go on a shooting spree?
Right.
It's that took a dark turn.
There's your sequel.
There's your sequel. He turns into Michael Douglas from Walking Down.
Yeah.
It's Walking Down, right?
No, it's not Walking Tall. I know the one you're talking about, the one where he flips out at the restaurant and
yeah. He's like the McDonald's killer in California.
What's the Michael Douglas movie where he like flips out?
Falling Down.
Falling Down.
Yes. I mixed up my
that is okay.
Violent metaphors.
All right. Well, I'm going to wrap this thing up here with two actually pretty interesting questions here. You can think about this one for a minute here. We're going to go with Ken first, because he's seen this movie 142 times. Ken, if you could ask Elwood one question, what would it be?
What's your opinion of Bugs Bunny?
Nice.
I guess I'm going to ask him how his mother died. Because I'm curious on if that's what set everything apart.
That's a good question.
The other question I would want to ask him is, because seems like a ladies' man, he knows how to talk to a woman. Why is he single?
And women warm up to him. Yeah, woof, that's right.
He's a ladies' man. Why isn't he with a woman? So that's my other question.
So there is an empathetic part of me that is very strong. So my question to him would be, what happened? Are you okay? It's because my version of Harvey is that he's not an alcoholic and that something tragic happened to him.
But maybe if you sit down and have a few drinks with him, you realize, hey,
he's
man,
an alcoholic. Yeah,
I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but that's what I would ask him. I'm like, what happened? What happened to bring this all about? How did we get here? What about you, Eric? What would you ask Elwood?
This is actually a really interesting question because there's so many different directions you can go to. You can go into, when your mother died, what happened, the alcoholism. My question would be, Elwood, you're such a nice person. You're such a great guy. You put everyone else's needs ahead of yours. Why do you do this? It's so great. Why?
Right.
Because
yeah.
I mean, it's very, very rare. Like you said, the only time he got remotely agitated is when Harvey was going to leave him and stay with the doctor. So in his mind, he'd never see Harvey again. And even that didn't set him off into breaking out in emotional tears or, screaming, Nancy Kerrigan, why? Nothing phases the guy. Any situation, he sees the positive in it. Oh, you're going to put me in a sanitarium? No problem.
He's the ultimate optimist.
Exactly. The ultimate optimist. It's like, dude, why? Why doesn't anything get to you? What is your secret? Yeah. I want to be that person that looks at the positive in any situation and it doesn't phase him or affect him in any way at all. That would be my one question.
I completely agree with that.
Because I'm sure he could probably go into, just because he's so eloquent when he talks and he's so down to earth. He could probably just rattle that yarn for 20 minutes.
Yeah, the actual language of this movie is very good. There's nothing common about it. It's how people would actually talk, but there's also that level, like you said, there's an eloquence to it that is a running thing throughout the movie too. It's very well written that way. I guess if I had another question, it would be, what do you want? What do you need, Elwood? Are you completely happy?
Yeah, what do you want out of life?
Because nobody really does ask him what he really wants.
I want to rock.
I want to rock.
Oh, of course.
Right.
We all want to rock.
What do you want to do with your life, Elwood?
Yeah, I mean,
He's worthless and weak.
We all want to be Twisted Sister.
We do. We all want to be Dee Snider. So
Dee Snider's awesome, by the way.
He is. Okay. Great segue.
He's a mensch.
He's a mensch.
He is, man. He's awesome.
Final question. This is a great one because I love to hear your answer on this one because I think we're all going to be in the same boat here. How might the story be different if it were set in today's world, 2025, 75 years later?
Didn't we have a movie kind of like that with Stranger Than Fiction with Will Ferrell?
I think it's different.
Yeah, it's different, but I can see where you're going. I haven't seen the movie in years. Yeah.
And that movie's a little bit on the older side now. Was it 12, 13 years old?
Yeah,
probably?
yeah.
How society would treat it. I don't think people would let it go. Like at the end of this movie, everybody is in agreement that he's better off having the rabbit in his life. I don't think in this day and age that people would let that go, especially if he's already seen a doctor And multiple people have been brought into this situation to say that he was nutso.
The thing is he would not deny the rabbit and the friend. So he would probably get, power of attorney signed over on his behalf because he's not competent.
He would be hopped up on pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. Oh, clearly. Maybe not by his choice.
It was essentially what it would be. I mean, let's keep it 100.
I don't think he'd have an open tab at the bar either.
No, definitely not.
Maybe he'd have his own reality show. Truman Show.
Possibility.
Truman Show.
That's a possibility too.
Yeah.
You look at some of the people that have
be any worse, shows. Right?
But yeah, I think that the bottom line is he would be under doctor's supervision
and probably not see the light of day.
Yeah, and he would be hopped up on you name the antipsychotic medication, and he would be on it right now, immediately.
Which would completely change his personality.
Exactly. Yeah. Harvey would cease to exist.
Hence would be the end of this movie, where they wanted to give him a shot of
whatever that
mystery solution that was probably going to just dumb him down.
Yeah, but I have a feeling it was something akin to Thorazine.
Yeah.
Or straight up lithium or something.
But how long would that stay in the system, though? Wouldn't you have to go?
You have to get it all the time.
All the time. And that's what I'm thinking here. I mean, we joke about this movie a little bit, but we're also just a few days removed from the Rob Reiner incident, where his son allegedly, killed him, who had mental issues and was in and out of rehab.
Psychotic and temper issues, too.
Yeah, and so when I
he's
said
the
in this
opposite
day and age,
of Elwood,
right?
Yeah,
we're not making that comparison,
but we're also looking at a situation where I said earlier that society wouldn't let it go, but actually, in this day and age, people reject help all the time. Medication, it's really, really hard to get somebody committed, because they have to give themselves the ability to commit themselves unless they are a danger to themselves or to society. And sometimes you just don't know. Like in this movie, the aunt, even though there are some alternative motives, she has motives that are selfish.
Ulterior motives. And you are absolutely right. Many of them.
She has many of them, but at the same time, she has true motives as well for him to be better.
She doesn't know how to react.
She doesn't know what to do. And this being in the 1930s, 40s, or whatever it may be, 1865. I don't know.
Right. 1860s.
It's not 1865.
You know what it was? It was the death of Abraham Lincoln that set him off.
Yeah, that's
clearly.
Set him off. Yeah.
That set the world off.
Yeah.
Those damn carpetbaggers, I'll tell you.
Yeah, but
it'll do it to you.
It's hard. I mean, for people because they think they're okay. When people are mentally ill, sometimes they just don't see that they're mentally ill, or worse off, they see it, but they don't want to be anything different.
But he doesn't see himself as mentally ill.
He
sees himself as perfectly normal and sane.
I don't know what he feels that he is, to be honest with you.
But everyone enables him. That's the thing. He
has picked a lane, and that's the lane he's going to be in.
Yeah. And everyone's letting him go straight in the carpool lane. No one's pulling him over or cutting him off or anything. I don't know any more car analogies I can throw in there, but everyone just enables him pretty much because he's happy and nice and thought-worthy and harmless. He's just an embarrassment.
It's at the end of the day, who are we to say who's normal and who's not normal, right? We all have some type of mental struggle that we deal with in some type of way. Some are just more up on the surface than others.
All right. I agree with you guys on how it would be different if Elwood was in the society. And I think we all agree that it would be for the negative. There's no way this would end any way positive in his manner.
And let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100. He exists in a movie world, because
even in the movie world,
even in the time that the movie's set, that would never have flown.
No, this is granted, with the amount of money that he might have inherited and the family has, there's a little bit more reality to that.
Possibly.
Okay, let's talk about our reviews. Ken, it's your movie. You kick us off.
For years, when I first started watching this movie, this wasn't one of my favorite Jimmy Stewart movies. It was actually one that I didn't go to that very often. As I gotten older and understanding mental illness is when I really started to appreciate this movie and actually appreciate Jimmy Stewart's performance in this movie. This is a top performance here from Jimmy Stewart. He has to carry the movie from start to finish and does an amazing job of it. His mannerisms, his looks, the way he says his lines. I know Eric jokes about the one-trick pony, but this character, he brings...
One-dimensional.
Yeah. Well,
one-trick pony means that he can only do one thing, and that's it. One-dimensional.
In this one, he's bringing a lot of things to the table here, in my opinion. He's allowing us to see mental illness in a different way. He is also very lovable. You want Harvey to be real. But at the same time, you feel for his aunt. The negatives here of this movie are the people that are in the hospital, the doctors. The head doctor, not so much. I think that it is kind of cool to have an extra character that does see the rabbit as well. But the younger doctor and the nurse, well, she's nice to look at, but they don't have a clue of what the hell they're doing. And I think they bring down the movie a little bit. The guy who plays I don't know if it's an orderly or I don't know if that's his official position. He's one of the most unlikable characters in the world. And the
he's
sister,
a creepy old man is what he is.
And the one that plays the sister's daughter, she's extremely unlikable. There's not one thing, you don't feel bad for her one iota. You want Harvey and Elwood to show up to that party and tell everybody. You want her not to find a man. She's that unlikable, unfortunately. This movie is a 4.5 hook movie. As the years have gone by, I've gone deeper and deeper into this movie and I've appreciated it more and more based on the fact of how Stewart tackled this role. It's a film now that it's a must-see for me every now and then, up there with his other performances that I cared greatly about, especially Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. It's not that movie, but it's definitely a top-tier movie for me.
Okay.
How about you, Eric? What's your review?
Wow. Based on Ken's review, I almost feel bad now. Almost feel guilty. Yeah, you're right. It's not Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, because that's a good movie. This movie, dude, I almost didn't get through it. It really put me to sleep. And yeah, he's pretty one-dimensional in this one. I just kept seeing It's a Wonderful Life, It's a Wonderful Life. The only character I liked was him. I really liked his character because I like It's a Wonderful Life. Everyone else in this movie, I didn't like him at all. I didn't like anyone in this movie. And I couldn't relate to it. It wasn't a comedy. It wasn't funny. It wasn't humorous. It was just there. Wasn't bad, wasn't good. Now, I know this is Ken's favorite actor of all time, and he's going to look at movies a little differently than Jimmy Stewart, as if me looking at movies from Robert Redford differently. We all have different opinions. But from an objective point of view, I just could not get into this movie. And I will admit I have a little bit of a bias towards older movies. And I don't know what it is about movies of this era and old women. None of them are ever likable. They're all just annoying and bitchy and just annoy the hell out of me. Sorry, Ken. I could not get into this movie. But if you're a Jimmy Stewart fan, you got to watch it. For me, it's average at best. I'm giving it 2.75 hooks. Am I ever going to see it again? No. But at least now I can tell people I've seen it. How about you, Ted?
All right, so I guess, and this is why I asked you, Eric, because I had a feeling I knew what you were going to say.
Okay.
So my review, I think pretty much in the middle. I think it's a good way to
that's
end.
Good. No, that's a positive.
To end here, because...
So Ken won't disown you, just me.
I don't think he's disowning either of us. Okay, so as a movie, to me, it's intriguing. Because I think it asks a lot of the audience. Because some of the characters, and I agree with Eric, a lot of these characters are unlikable. But they also have different arcs to their characters. So they're not just paper one-dimensional characters. But the movie asks a lot. And that's where it leaves me a little bit more off-putting. But I do like this movie because it's Jimmy Stewart. If this movie is one of those other incredible actors that we mentioned, I don't know if I like this movie. I think
it's an entirely different movie.
Yes, yeah. I think it's Jimmy Stewart that makes this movie work. Because I have a completely different outlook on this movie than Ken does. And I think we've explored that throughout the podcast, that I lean towards the more sympathetic version of Elwood. And so it brought out that empathy in me towards that character. And that takes talent, writing and acting ability. So with all of that said, for me, this movie, is this a movie I'll go back and watch? I probably will, because I'll probably try to see it through Ken's eyes in that way.
Well, if you watch it again, you got to look at it more as an alcoholic now. So if I do watch the movie again, I am going to be focusing on the alcoholism.
I will make us old fashions, Eric, and you can come over and we'll watch it and we'll see what happens.
There you go, breaking a new place. Absolutely.
Is it Jimmy Stewart's best movie? For me, no. It's not anywhere near It's a Wonderful Life or Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. But there's a lot of commendable things in this. And so for me, this is a 3.75. It's right there because I do like it, but there are parts that are unlikable. And I know that's probably a milquetoast way to put things and kind of a wishy-washy review, but that's just kind of how I feel. I know that I wouldn't like this movie with another actor.
One thing I want to add to this, because we didn't get to talk about a certain scene, one scene that made me buy into this movie a lot more throughout the years is when they come out of the bar and the doctor asks him how he come up with the name Harvey for the rabbit. This is the only time I really like the doctor. The doctor and him are going back and forth about, did he know a kid named Harvey?
His father named Harvey, or...
Yeah, he was actually being what a doctor was.
Psychologist.
Right.
Yeah.
For the first time.
For the first time in the whole movie. And that's what made me buy into this movie when I got as an older adult. As far as Eric goes, I already knew that Eric was going to be in this area. Even before I picked this movie, I know how Eric is with old movies. 1 out of 100 old movies Eric is going to enjoy. And that's probably being nice about it.
It's hard to argue with that, but
we already talked about the Marx Brothers and the silent films and all that other stuff. We already know that he hates, slapstick humor of the 30s and 40s and things of that nature.
He's right.
Eric doesn't like the Three Stooges, and
I don't like the Three Stooges. You're right.
I question anybody who doesn't like.
It's like the bow tie theory. I question anybody who doesn't like the Three Stooges.
Yeah, Start me on the bow tie theory. That's all the time we have on this episode of Hooked on Movies, the podcast. Ken, tell us, what is the next movie we're going to be doing?
Holy Clarkson!
What the fuck was that?
We're doing the 40-year-old virgin, dude.
Oh, I thought maybe he had Tourette's. That's right. We are doing the 40-year-old version.
Yes, we're going to be doing the 20th anniversary of the 40-year-old virgin. So that would make him 60-year-old virgin.
Yeah, how about that? 20 years ago.
Ken, you know how I know you're gay? You have a poster of Toto in your room.
He's setting you up for the movie, Ken. So now you get to hear that line 14 times.
Yep.
Oh, yes. Yep. One of the
I think the only reason why you asked that question is he's hoping that he gets a positive response.
Yeah. So. One of the great offensive movies of 2005.
It's fucking awesome.
Oh, it is. It is.
It's so funny.
And a great supporting cast of...
It's the best supporting
equally
cast.
Offensive people. So
it is awesome in every sense of the word.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have on this episode of Hooked on Movies, the podcast. As always, happy trails, everyone.
Harvey, what should we say? See you at the movies.
See you next time on Hooked on Movies.